Nicole, adjusting the microphone and clearing her throat.
Your worship, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am most humbled to introduce an innovation that has captured the imagination of our municipality. I couldn't think of a better way to introduce the innovation than through a short skit that Alvita, Montano, and I will stage in front of you. Welcome.
The podium is pushed aside, and the trio, two students Alvita and Montano, and Nicole, take seats at center stage. There is silence as Montano swings on the chair without making a full circle.
Tell me, Alvita, what can we do as a society to ensure you have a good future? Right now, it seems extremely bleak. I shudder to think about it.
How do you know my future is extremely bleak?
Well, yesterday, I was seated under the tree behind the classroom, thinking. I traveled into the future about 50 years from now. And guess what? I saw you working at a corner in a city as a cobbler. You looked severely battered, and your nose was permanently running, if I remember well.
Me, a cobbler? Was it a nightmare that you had, or a hallucination?
No, it is called traveling into the future. You close your eyes and try to figure out how your future will look like, given past and current trends. You can also travel into the past. One time, I traveled into the past until I was back in my mother's womb, and I sat there, mesmerized.
Demonstrating, folding his legs and arms in a fetal position.
Oh, what a strange thing to do. But a cobbler, you said?
You were actually fortunate to have a source of income as a cobbler. Millions of young people were loitering aimlessly in the streets and villages without gainful employment. All of them were poor, hungry, and angry.
You are rarely serious, Montano. You mean with all my education I couldn't get a good job?
You see, Alvita, our country has been producing more graduates each year than the number of jobs it is able to create. At this rate, what do you think will be the situation over a period of 50 years? I was in no better position, Alvita. I was earning my livelihood as a pianist with a not-so-popular steel band at that time. But joblessness was not even my main concern.
What was your main concern?
The way your nose was running, as though you had a drum of fluids in the middle of your head. I frankly didn't think you would see another day.
And why on earth was my nose running like that? This is unusual.
I think it was because of the awful smell in the city at that time. All cities had a bad stench because clean water was very scarce.
Why was there no water?
Climate change had occasioned unpredictable weather patterns, and it was hardly raining anymore. It was raining once a year, at most for only 10 minutes. Alvita, the new climate could hardly support plant or animal life.
You mean animals and plants had died?
Most of them. In fact, people had no choice but to adapt to eating strange things like insects, crawling creatures, rodents, and sea creatures that could survive the harsh climate. But all these were in very short supply too, so most people had adapted to eating plastics, synthetic fibers, and other bizarre things I couldn't make out. I saw you chewing a gunny bag at one point. It appears you can eat anything, Alvita.
You make it sound like life will just come to an end in 50 years.
You are very right, Alvita. Life expectancy dropped drastically. You see, people today live up to 80 years or even more. In that future, people were only able to live up to 30 or 40 years at most.
And why were they dying so early?
Diseases and malnutrition. Many people could not afford medicine and good food. Crime was also too high, with people being slaughtered like chickens. What with all these criminal gangs in the municipality? In any case, as you know, law enforcers and judges could only serve those who greased their palms. So the rest of the people had no avenue for protection and justice. They had to figure out their private arrangements for security and justice, if you get what I mean. And that made people take the law into their own hands. That's pretty much the situation today. It had only aggravated over the 50 years period.
I will tell you, my dear Montano, lack of knowledge is darker than night. I also traveled into the future, and I saw an entirely different world.
Really? Tell us.
You see, people had become so creative that they designed intelligent robots that replaced even professionals like judges and police officers. So justice and law enforcement were rendered by machines to all people without discrimination.
Oh, what an incredible ideal. How can a robot possibly enforce the law or make a judgment?
Oh yes, it can. Haven't you read about decision-making algorithms? You see, if today a computer software can do a better job than an accountant or a lawyer, then what is so special about developing an artificial police officer or judge?
Oh, Alvita, what pipe dreams you entertain.
Oh yes, it is true. I also saw that life expectancies had increased to over 700 years.
Get serious, Alvita.
Yes, drugs had been developed for regenerating body cells in such a way that no one could grow old. I remember seeing you, mistress. You looked so young and beautiful at 250 years of age.
Alvita, I always knew you had a fertile imagination. I can assure you no such future is possible given current trends in our municipality.
Oh yes, it is possible. Through creativity, we had transformed human society so fundamentally that we did not even need jobs. Forget about cobblers and all that. Machines were doing all the work for us. Whole factories, hotels, and hospitals were being run entirely by intelligent machines and robots. There was hardly any human being in town. Only self-driven vehicles ferrying robots to various destinations to attend meetings and transact businesses. And that does not mean there were no jobs. No. We were busy with other intellectual pursuits. We had ventured outside the Earth and spent a lot of our time conquering new territories in other parts of the universe.
Clapping her hands.
Oh my, what an overheated imagination.
We had even developed technology for cleaning the air of carbon emissions, which solved problems of climate change, and we could make rain whenever we felt like it.
Alvita, do you see that scarlet ibis perched on the school fence?
Yes, I do. Why?
We better discuss which side of the fence that bird will fly when it eventually decides to fly, rather than waste our time on idle musings.
I agree with Montano. If hospitals today barely have medicines, how practical is it to think that there will be a future when intelligent machines and robots will run them? From where will the resources come?
You see, mistress, the resources are there even today. All we need to do is to ensure that they are well used for the right purposes.
There lies the whole problem, Alvita. We will never be able to do that.
We can find innovative ways of ensuring that happens.
Impossible. How?
We just did it. My friend and I developed an innovation, an app to solve this problem.
An innovation?
Have you not heard that we won this year's National Secondary Schools Innovation Competition?
Oh, is that so? Tell us about it.
It is an app, a simple mobile application on which people share information, videos, texts, and photos, just as they do on other social media platforms. The only difference is that we went further and developed what we call digital pigeonholes.
What does that mean?
To understand it, just think of a traditional parliament. Each member of parliament has a pigeonhole or box on the wall where they get their letters, notifications, and other communications. Now think of a wall with a pigeonhole for every municipal department where officials get letters, notifications, and other communications from the public. This innovation is similar, but the pigeonholes are digital, and communications are in soft rather than hard form, as in physical parliaments.
Oh, I think it makes sense. Have you tried it?
Oh, yes. We initially deployed it on a trial run to protect our environment. People took photographs and videos of illegal activities degrading the environment, provided details of the locations and people involved, and posted it on the pigeonhole of the municipal department responsible for the environment via the app. Officials only needed to log in and check their pigeonhole to see the reports. This is ongoing.
Quite impressive. But does it ensure the proper use of public resources, as we argued?
Yes, it does. People now share information about resource use. For example, in municipal procurement, they share details about tenders, awards, delivery, quality, costs, and more.
Which department gets this information?